Good evening. Can you hear me? Yeah. All right. Perfect. Well, I'm very happy to see all of you tonight, and I'm honored to be asked to introduce David. When Linda, my friend, organized the event, and she asked me, I wasn't sure because of arrangements with kids and babysitting. So I promised her that I'll do my best because of how I feel. Unfortunately, I've never met David in person, but the way we feel about him, and especially I'm a Palestinian, and maybe I'm not sure you can tell, we have a special relationship with him, especially us activists or troublemakers, because he inspires us, and he gives us when I'm feeling, depressed, especially when they turn off the lights and they put the light. When I'm on the spot like this, I play David's music, but it's for us who are concerned not just about Palestine or Iraq or Afghanistan, Darfur. We do need someone like David to help us maneuver through all the depressing stuff that we face every day, and I'm very honored to have him here in Seattle and to introduce him, and to also tell him, to thank him in person for what he does for Palestine, the Palestinian cause, and for justice around the world. And with that, I'll stop here and welcome David to the stage. Thank you.
I think the lights are nice, It makes me feel professional when there's stage lights instead of fluorescent. I probably did this song last time I played, but it has a shelf life that's going to expire in the fall of 2016, so I gotta go ahead. I turned on my TV, though it was hard to see these men who would be head of state. What a great country, from sea to shining sea, we watched the Republicans debate. Newt stood with his third wife and said, you bet your life the president is a red. He wants to tax the rich a lot, take your limo and your yacht. He wants to have the bankers' heads. And if he gets in again, he'll paint the White House pink, and then he'll hire Chavez as his VP. Then we'll be right on track to give capitalism the sack, along with the insurance industry. If only it were true, if only it were true, I'd be so happy, wouldn't you? If only it were true, if only it were true, if only it were true. Just sing along if you can figure out the chorus quick enough. He'll give everyone food stamps and wheelchair ramps. He'll subsidize windmills and maple syrup. He'll cripple industries with eco-friendly policies, and pretty soon we will be just like Europe. He'll shut down oil wells, give out solar cells to every home in Delaware and Illinois. He'll ban logging in the parks. He'll send the works of Karl Marx to the homes of every American girl and boy. He'll abolish pesticides. He'll be giving out free rides and free lunches too in his high-speed trains. He'll start lots of public works full of union perks. He'll fill all the cities up with bicycle lanes. If only it were true, if only it were true, I'd be so happy, wouldn't you? If only it were true, if only it were true, if only it were true. Watch out, his critics tell, this shall be our death knell. He'll pull the troops out and end all of our wars. He'll gut military spending, our empire will be ending, and soon we'll be invaded by the Moors. He'll legalize all drugs, give away beer mugs and hookahs to every child, and Korans. He'll ban religions from the schools, give 40 acres and a mule to every person who makes less than 50 grand. He'll close Guantanamo, to torture he'll say no. He'll make us all drive electric cars. He'll reinstate the fairness doctrine, take off the damn flag pin, and he'll put Rupert Murdoch behind bars. If only it were true, if only it were true, I'd be so happy, wouldn't
just doing new songs because there's a 3-camera shoot going on and I'm taking advantage of that. So you guys, I hope you don't mind. Yeah, if somebody could throw their panties on the stage too at some point. A diaper? You got a diaper? Yeah, there's a baby here. I wonder what that would mean. I guess it would depend on whether it contained material or not. The message would be different. Let's see here. The new songs. Oh, the old songs I often forget, but the new songs I don't even remember in the first place. That's the. It's been an eventful few weeks and an eventful several months and then beyond that and it's been a while since I found anything funny to write about, but there's always little things, like people in Vancouver were suggesting a song about this, all the folks who are occupying this place at the base of Burnaby Mountain to try to prevent a pipeline from being built there. All their charges got recently thrown out because the company that was doing all the work with the pipeline had gotten the wrong GPS coordinate for the area that was supposed to be off limits, and so actually where all the protesters were was not within the area that was off limits, so they threw out the charges. But because the company laying the pipeline can't read their own GPSs, that's I don't know about what's involved with laying pipelines, but it seems like knowing how to work a GPS is probably part of the whole thing, Morelets. I mean, I'm fine either way. It's all about whether it's good for Todd. Millions of people from the colonies were living in the faraway cities, home of those who killed their country, who tried for over a century to bring Jesus back to Africa, from Mali to Algeria, and they fired into the protesters, dumped them in the rivers. There were lots of folks getting along, lots of folks feeling they'd been wronged in the crowded Paris streets, in the patrol cars' back seats, in the land of the catechism, in the land of secularism, where the learned taught the learning, where the cars were sometimes burning before the war came home. Before the war came home. There was rising real estate, fear of the caliphate, no question what it meant when Le Pen got 25%. Fighter jets in flight, lighting up the night. More enemies were made when the armies of the West invaded. There were lots of talking heads quoting something someone said. There were blasphemous cartoons pouring salt upon the wounds. More countries to attack, now Syria, now Iraq. Fighters returning who had seen the cities burning before the war came home. Before the war came home. There were people in the cafes having meetings, drinking oldies. There were tourists in the tower. There were girls picking flowers. There were Muslims praying. There were others saying, this is a secular nation, no room for religious demonstration. There were people talking about blowback. There were occasional attacks. There were many people asking what kind of beer was brewing. There were ringing church bells and Al-Qaeda sleeper cells. Passers-by without a clue what those masked men were about to do before the war came home. Before the war came Well, today is actually a pretty upbeat day, I think, overall, as the world goes, as days goes, because the Syriza party was elected to lead Greece, and this is a song about a country all the way on the other end of the European continent, but or the European Peninsula, or whatever the heck it is, but it is very much dedicated to the people of Greece, and it has a very sing-alongable chorus, although brief. Iceland is an island with 500,000 or so Vikings, mostly known for volcanoes, hot springs, and fishing, known for its welfare state for being good and socialistic, certainly not known for being corrupt or nepotistic, but in the USA and Europe, when they were deregulating banks, Iceland's politicians took bribes and joined their ranks. Soon you had a situation one would think just couldn't be, a bank whose debt was worth 10 times the country's GDP. When Wall Street imploded, sure enough it spread. Banks all over the world were floating in the red. All over the world, governments made the plan to cut spending and raise taxes on the working woman and working man. The banks were bailed out while the people had to pay. But in Iceland, people thought there must be a better way, and the earth stood still a moment. Fear was struck in every top when Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers to fuck off. Folks were in the streets in Reykjavik and just couldn't be ignored. They said this is a debt we Icelanders can't afford. Let's guarantee deposits of all our people, yes indeed. But as for all the speculators motivated by their greed to make really dumb investments, to them Iceland said good luck. Sorry for your losses, but we don't really give a fuck. The 1% all trembled when they took away the trough. When Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers to fuck off. The UK called them terrorists, said we cannot let this stand. Who do these peacenik blondes think they are in Iceland? They threaten isolation and economy in flames. But the Icelanders said sorry, but the banks can settle their own claims, though that might be harder for them now that they're under house arrest. Or else they fled the country as they were most unwelcome guests. And now Reykjavik's recovery just makes the fat cats cough. Since Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers to fuck off. If you haven't heard of this example, perhaps there's a reason why. The owners of the world don't want this kind of shit to fly. They say we all must pay up in this shit down by the mob. If we can't afford to pay the rent cause we don't have a job, they say it's not their problem. If we're forever shackled by their debt, we must save the 1% from the fate they should have met. But there is an alternative, though it makes the fat cats scoff. That Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers to fuck off. That Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers to fuck off. Well, one of the the things that the news, the mainstream corporate and so-called public news rarely does is puts anything into a context that's actually useful. Like last summer, for example, they kept on saying Hamas launched missiles and then, and any sentence that begins with Hamas launched missiles and then is starting at a really weird juncture in the whole thing, because Hamas has only existed since 1983 so you can't really start a sentence that way. You have to put that into context first, it seems to me. And if you're gonna also talk about the situation in Gaza, then it would be useful to at least spend a couple sentences explaining what is daily life like in Gaza during peacetime. There's no such thing. Well, then what is life there like when they're not under heavy bombardment? That should be a necessary precursor to any, description of what's going on. Of course they only have a minute or so, but which is part of the problem.
1.8 million people surrounded on all sides. Refugees since 48, since 67 occupied. The only reason they're not starving is down to the UN. Most have never left, they're stuck in the lion's den, the most crowded place on earth, and there they'll stay. They can't visit cousins a half hour's drive away. Drones overhead constantly. Who will die tomorrow? A daily mystery in Gaza. The settlers moved out, fighter jets moved in. In Gaza there's just no way that you can win. You can't take out a copter with an antiquated gun. You're just a target sitting in the sun, waiting for your death to come raining from the sky, where the end really is nigh. You can hear a sonic boom and see a flashing light every hour of the day, every hour of the night in Gaza. There are no shelters, nowhere you can hide. Life is nothing like it is on the other side. There's nothing post about the traumatic stress. There's never more, usually less. And still some people wonder, they insist on asking why anyone would be so mad as to reply, so mad as to think that it might make sense to lob some missiles over the fence from Gaza. From Gaza. From Gaza.
Well, another thing going on that's actually in many ways very intimately related with the situation there is the situation on the U.S.-Mexico border with other refugees. Other refugees that our foreign policy created, including, along with the tens of thousands of teenagers and children coming in unaccompanied from Central America. Hundreds of them require not just Spanish interpretation, but Mayan interpretation, because there's been hundreds of them coming across that don't speak Spanish or English. Turning away Mayan refugees might be a first. Give us your huddled masses, yearning to be free. That's what it says on the Statue of Liberty, and here they come from the other side, across the southern border, across the Great Divide. Now they're told they should go away, but the statue in the harbor says stay. Give us your cold and hungry, Let them come by land or sea. Let them all find solace in this land of refugees, escaping persecution, just trying to survive. And they worked as hard as Guatemalans as soon as their ships arrived, and now they're told they should go away. But the statue in the harbor says stay. Give us your persecuted, but only if they're white. It doesn't say that on a statue that holds aloft the light. What did you think would happen in the lands you overthrew? Where should all the children go after the coup? And now they're told they should go away. But the statue in the harbor says stay. Now they're told they should go away. But the statue in the harbor says stay. The statue in the harbor says stay. Well, I mean, there's always an upside to all sorts of things, including being on a watch list. You know, that can be good for entertainment. I got stranded in Tokyo for a couple weeks because they wouldn't let me into New Zealand. But the circumstances for my being prevented from entering New Zealand were, I thought, you know, worthy of a song. I should be gigging in New Zealand now, but I'm not. I'm stuck in Narita instead. I should be singing in Dunedin, smoking kiwi pot and chilling with the Kiwi Reds. But when I showed up at the airport to board my flight, I was handed somebody's cell phone. Suddenly the future didn't look so bright, and I entered the twilight zone. The woman on the line said, "Hello, I'm from immigration. You may have a ticket, but you can't go to our great island nation." I felt like I'd been hit in the face with a big old kiwi log. And then I felt the Stasi's cold embrace when she said, "I've been reading your blog. The spies are reading my blog, the introduction and the prologue. And if that's so, it just might be true that they're watching this video too." Well, I normally don't get many views, a few hundred friends and coots, so it comes as surprising news that some of them are Kiwi spooks. I try to get my missives out and cause some small commotion. Someone's listening out of there's no doubt across the South Pacific Ocean. The spies are reading my blog, the introduction and the prologue. And if that's so, it just might be true that they're watching this video too. "Were you strip searched in Trondheim?" she asked. "What kinds of things do you smoke? Have you ever been charged with a crime? Are you rich or are you broke? Have you ever been turned away from any borders you tried to cross? What kind of venues did you plan to play? Do you use dental floss?" I said, "It seems a bit unusual for you to do things quite this way." I asked her, "Is this normal?" But she wouldn't say. She'd just repeat her message. "At Narita you shall remain. I've read your blog, each vile passage, and you may not board that plane. The spies are reading my blog, the introduction and the prologue. And if that's so, it just might be true that they're watching this video too. They're watching this video too." I was, I did eventually get into Australia, and I got an email from a friend who's from Brisbane who said there's a trial going on in Brisbane that needs a theme song. There was a couple of guys who saw the video of the helicopter gunship massacring people in the streets below in Baghdad that was leaked out by Chelsea Manning in 2007, and And so they had seen this video, and they were very disturbed by it, and they decided that next time there were joint U.S.-Australian war games happening in the military base near where they lived in Queensland, that they would trespass onto the military base with sledgehammers looking for a helicopter gunship, which is what they did, and they found one, and then they got busted. I was singing the song at a festival one time, and everybody was dancing, as they do sometimes at festivals, even though this is not dance music. And so I was wondering if anybody was actually paying attention. And then the next morning, I saw one of the folks who had been dancing, and he stopped me on the trail, and he said, 10 million people with sledgehammers could change everything. Yeah, good point. Somebody was paying attention. I watched it on the TV. Machine guns, fire towards the ground. I watched the people run. Helicopter gunship, strafing the street. I watched them lining up the bodies in the Baghdad heat. They say these leaks had consequences, and I must agree. When I saw them fire on the children, it affected me. I thought, what if I were wearing the other shoe? If I had a hammer, what would I do? I am just a person, like anyone. I am just another mother's son. I have no special powers. I cannot fly, not like that helicopter gunship up in the sky, sending all those bullets all around to the journalists and children on the ground. I am just one man, that's very true. But if I had a hammer, what would I do? I try to wonder, why should I care? But then the answer seems so obvious. There are people down there. And right here in Queensland, there's an army base. And there's a helicopter gunship just sitting in place. There's a time for watching. There's a time to act. It's just gonna kill more children if it remains intact. I am just one person, but you are too. If you had a hammer, what would you do? If you had a hammer, what would you do? Suspect as soon as you go outside. Just another suspect, one more man to fear. Best be deferential if an officer is near. Best be deferential, best wear a three-piece suit or find the wrong end of a truncheon or a combat boot. The wrong end of a truncheon or the barrel of a gun. Each day could be your last and final one. I can't breathe. make the rent. If you can't hustle up some money, you'll be living in a tent. If you can't hustle up some money or get paid a living wage, the kids will be evicted and they'll put you in a cage. The kids will be evicted, living in the street, in line outside the mission to get some soup and bread to eat. In line outside the mission or just hope for the best. Go out and sell some Lucy's, feel your heartbeat in your chest. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Wake up in the morning, get up and roll the dice. Try not to look suspicious, hope they think you look nice. Try not to look suspicious, try not to raise alarm. If you wanna see your family, don't want them to come to harm. If you wanna see your family, you wanna live another day. Watch out for the cops, hope they go away. Watch out for the cops or you'll be taking your last breath. The next one that you see just might choke you to death. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Wake up in the morning. So, a communist and an anarchist were in a car together. Who was driving? The cop. I don't drive a car because they run on gas, but if I did, it'd run on biomass. I ride a bike or sometimes a skateboard, so fuck off all you drivers and your yuppie hordes sitting all day in the traffic queues. I'm a better anarchist than you. I don't eat meat, I just live on moldy chives or the donuts that I found in last week's dumpster dives. Look at you people in that restaurant, I think you are so sad when you could have been eating bagels like the ones that I just had. I think it is a shame all the bourgeois things you do. I'm a better anarchist than you. I don't wear leather and I like my clothes in black, and I made a really cool hammock from a moldy coffee sack. I like to hop on freight trains, I think that is so cool. It's so much funner doing this than being stuck in school. I can't believe you're wearing those brand new shiny shoes. I'm a better anarchist than you. I don't have sex and there will be no sequel because heterosexual relationships are inherently unequal. I'll just keep on moshing to anti-flag and crass until there are no differences in gender, race, or class. All you brainwashed breeders, you just haven't got a clue. I'm a better anarchist than you. I don't believe in leaders, I think consensus is the key. I don't believe in stupid notions like representative democracy. Whether or not it works, I know it is the case that only direct action can save the human race. So when I see you in your voting booth, then I know it's true. I'm a better anarchist than you. I am not a pacifist, I like throwing bricks, and when the cops have caught me and I've taken a few licks, I always feel lucky if I get a bloody nose, because I feel so militant and everybody knows. By the time the riot is all through, I'm a better anarchist than you. I'm a better anarchist than you. I shall do one more song, and then we'll take a little break, and then I'll do it all over again with different songs. And there's CDs and T-shirts over there. My landlord and my daughter appreciate your CD and T-shirt purchases. And there's raffle tickets where you can enter to win CDs and T-shirts. Yeah, there's your commercial announcement for the evening. So this is the there's always so many anniversaries, but this is the 100th anniversary year of the execution by firing squad of Joe Hill, and so that seems like a really cheery subject to write a song about. So. Joel Hagler came from Sweden, which was very far from Eden. By the time he left, most of his family died. His sisters and his mother, his father and his brothers, so with one remaining sibling at his side. He got a notion to sail across the ocean, where he heard the streets were paved with gold. Not long after his arrival, as he toiled for survival, he realized the bill of goods that he'd been sold. He got a whole lot wiser, became an organizer, and he organized with artistry and skill. He spoke up, raised his fist, got right on the blacklist. That's why he changed his name to Joe Hill. He heard that it was best if he headed to the west, where the industrial workers of the world were finding the solutions for making revolution, with red songbook and red flag unfurled. 100 years ago the bard with the Union card proved his music was too powerful, too strong. They couldn't stand the sound, they had to take him down, lest he organize the working class in song. Soon as he paid his dues, he tried hard to light the fuse, speaking, singing, writing lyrics and cartoons. He sent off the whole mess to the wobbly press, and they sang his songs as they fought the goons. He joined a singing movement that fought for improvement by abolishing wage slavery worldwide. He sang the wobbly line, beseeching workers to combine, learn from Mr. Block, the boss's lie. 100 years ago the bard with the Union card proved his music was too powerful, too strong. They couldn't stand the sound, they had to take him down, lest he organized the working class in song. Cut short by a kangaroo court, eager to determine one man's fate. Evidence was circumstantial, but that's inconsequential when you've become an enemy of the state. They put him up against the wall, and that was all. They gunned him down in 1915. He took all the bullets he could take there by the Salt Lake for being the best bard they'd ever seen. 100 years ago the bard with the Union card proved his music was too powerful, too strong. They couldn't stand the sound, they had to take him down, lest he organized the working class in song. 100 years ago the bard with the Union card proved his music was too powerful, too strong. They couldn't stand the sound, they had to take him down, lest he organized the working class in song.